Here we've got Danny and Jared. They want to aspire to become decoys. Jared, why you want to become a decoy?
It's something fun. I like doing it. It's a nice outside activity, and I just enjoy catching the dogs.
And how old are you?
15.
All right. And are you doing it so that you can get chicks' telephone numbers and stuff like that as well? You can be.
It'll be an added bonus.
Awesome. Danny, why are you doing this?
Because pain makes you feel alive, and obviously for the chicks' numbers.
Pain makes you feel alive with all those damn wraps that you've got around you.
Just to
what pain?
Oh, yo, what pain? Jeez, like.
Let's see. Let me take these things off now and show what a decoy's arm looks like.
No, show them.
Extra arm on top.
Show them.
But don't show them how many wraps you use.
It's just two.
That is not two.
Oh, dude, my wife bites me worse than that on a Saturday night. He's like. Okay, we've got Michelle over here. Michelle is one of our almost said older members, but it's got nothing to do with her age. But she's been with us for quite some time with the PSA. She's also one of our trainers that help train here at PSA. Michelle, if you look at PSA and you have to compare it to other sports, I'm not running any other sports down, but why did you choose PSA to other sports?
The main reason I got into PSA was seeing what these dogs were capable of in a state of mind that they want to do this. They love it. I saw dogs who were taking down guys and just loved it. The obedience was exceptional, and every single thing these dogs do, they do with 100% intensity and enthusiasm, and I loved watching the way the dogs were working in such a great state of mind. Yeah.
So tell us about your two dogs.
So I actually started off with a poodle and came to Charles and said, can we do anything with him? And we kind of said, no. So I got my first Mally from Charles and Molly, little Emily. She's been with me for 3 years. And then recently I got another dog called Benny, which came from the US and was a personal protection dog, and didn't quite have the best life in terms of jumping around from handler to handler. When I got this dog, he was broken, he was down and out, didn't want to do anything, didn't know how to be a dog. And after bringing him to get a grip, after just a few weeks, he came out of himself, he loves his work now, and completely different dog. So we are aiming to get our PSA level 1 after we get our PDC, and then with my little Maddie, I want to get my PDC with her. That
will be now in May?
Yes, going to Cape Town, baby!
Let me just get that.
PSA!
Thank you very much, Michelle. Okay, so here's Neil. Take your face mask off, Neil. Jeez, like Neil is very serious. He's also the tallest decoy that we've got. Neil, why are you doing this? Why are you here?
Initially, it looked kind of cool, but just it helps understand my own dog, and it's just fucking great sport. Love it. I don't have any other words for it. It's just amazing to see what the dogs are capable of doing.
You're trialing in May with your dog?
Definitely.
And you got, what breed you got?
I've got a Sable German Shepherd.
Awesome dog. Thank you very much, Neil. Neil, say for somebody who wants to get into this the sport, was it easy for you to get into the sport?
It was actually, yes. I left here close by, just about 10 k's off, and I was actually hooked on the first day. This club was very welcoming, and got me involved. They actually pushed me to become a decoy, and from the first bite, just everything started happening from there. Couldn't stop. Now I don't think I'll do anything else.
Awesome, Neil. Thanks. Hi, I'm Charles, our protection dogs, and we have got an interesting video coming up for you.
Well, I'm Marley, and we're going to tell you a little bit more of the sport we do called PSA, Protection Sport Association. We've had a few people asking us about it, what is it, because they always see us wear this shirt. And so we thought, okay, we'll do this video so you guys can get an idea about what it is that we do.
Alright, so Protection Sport Association, PSA, is a fairly young sport, dog sport in the world. And this year, in November, will be the 20th anniversary or the 20th birthday of the sport. And it'll be held in North Carolina in November. I'd say that, in November. So this is an event that we're all looking forward to, and I think there'll be some South African people traveling over to go and have a look at the sport. We've been fortunate to be there in Canada, and we were also in the States, even competed there. So it is something really spectacular to see all these guys in the States competing. And it's a sport, I think it's 12 countries, 13 countries now with Lebanon, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, but it's something like that. But if you want to know exactly more about the small little details and history of the sport, go check it out. It's PSA_AS.org. The AS stands for American Schutzhund, which is another dog sport that falls under the wing of PSA. Some of our clubs, even our club in South Africa, Get a Grip, is a dual-purpose club. So we also have PSA and also the American Schutzhund.
Yeah. All
right. To quickly start, PSA was it started in 2001 by our mentor and friend Jerry Bradshaw, and then also a friend of his, Joe Morris, and a few friends of them came together, and they put a sport together that consists out of scenario-based training. And if you look at PSA, it looks like a sport there. They've taken all the good of all the other sports, the ring sports, the KNPV, the IGP, what it stands for now, our old IPO or Schutzhund, and they have taken and put a lot together.
Okay, so how it works is you've got obedience and protection. So you have to pass your obedience to be able to carry on to do the bite work, and your bite work is, like Charles said, scenario based. So we've got our PDC, which is our protection dog certificate. So that's the entry level. You need that to be able to carry on to your titles, which is your PSA 1, PSA 2, and then PSA 3, which you need to achieve twice. Each of those levels needs to be passed twice in order for you to get your title. So PDC is very straightforward, where we want to see that your dog can protect you and that you have control over your dog. So it's a very, very basic obedience routine, and then consists of 3 scenarios, bite work scenarios, that you have to pass.
So if you go to the website, you'll see there under the rule book, each level gives you the rules. So your PDC is a set obedience routine, and it's a set biting routine that consists out of 3 scenarios. You've got the car scenario or anti-hijacking scenario, where you're inside the vehicle. Then the second one is the attack from behind, and then there is like a courage test. All very easy. The decoy just comes walking out, and it's done by suit. There's also a sleeve division, but if you do the sleeve division, it's basically a transition over from sleeve suits, like sleeve sports, like for instance your IGP, that if you come over that, it's like a transition to get into it, but you can only carry on with PSA on the suit. So you, after your PDC sleeve division, you're going to have to do a PDC suit, because you can't carry on if your dog doesn't bite on a suit. So that brings us to the PSA 1 level, right?
Yeah, so yeah, it gets a little bit more difficult, but not unobtainable. Your obedience, there's an on and an off leash portion. Now we do require attention healing, so the chances of you really passing your obedience without very, very good obedience is not very you're not going to pass if you don't have really spot on obedience. And the level of training is rising in the sport so much that even at national level, if you do not have super obedience, you can't even compete. So the bite work also, so now we still have the car scenario, but this time we've got gunshots. So we're building, in a way they are preparing the dogs, like the scenarios or the levels build on each other, so to prepare you and the dog as the things progress. So, but now we've got gunshots in the car. This time the attack on the handler is from the front, so someone will jump in from the front, and they've usually got 2 distractions in their hands. So it's quite a hard drive as well on the dog. Then we've got a courage test again, but this time the courage test is at a full speed run at the dog, and our decoys are fit. We'll get to that when we get to the decoys. And then they also throw a distraction to see if your dog can handle it or it will be put off course. And then we have your surprise scenarios. So there are 5 scenarios which you can train for. So it is in the rule book. On the day of the trial, 1 will get chosen, and that's the scenario you will be doing, but it could be any of 5 which you need to go and prepare for.
So you need to know 8 scenarios, the 3 compulsory ones plus the 5.
Yeah.
And I just need to say that test of courage is it's violent. It's really, really violent. I think it's one of the most exciting things to watch. Is in the PSA level 1, even for me in the PSA level 2s, and it's different because you've got a bunch of decoys coming at your dog, but here's one decoy coming and he's running as fast as he can, and he really wants to derail your dog. So
it's one of the
really
signature scenarios of the sport to me.
Yeah.
It's something that decoys fight over.
Yeah, all the decoys want to
who's going to get the courage test, so they can really go their full potential as decoy as well on that.
And if your dog, a lot of dogs, with especially strong decoys, if I think like in South Africa, like Johnny, and if you look at guys overseas, if I think like Sean Siggins, which is a monster of a human being, comes running at them full charge. If your dog can withstand that kind of pressure and that kind of test, I think you're going to go for quite far because it's really violent. Not violent in the thing that they hurt the dogs or anything, please don't get me wrong, but it's just a lot of pressure that's been put onto your dog. Right, then we get to the PSA level 2, and this is where things start really getting tough, and this is where the beauty of PSA starts. You've still got your obedience section?
Yeah, and now everything's off leash. Still attention healing, but now you've got 2 decoys following you, distracting you, clattering, making noise, talking to you. Yeah, it's not easy. It's something that has to be trained for. Lots of training time. And then you've got some obstacles now. You've got a jump and a tunnel and a window jump, and we've got a retrieve in there, which can be anything, but as long as it's not metal.
Yeah.
So there's not a set retrieve. The judge usually decides that day what it is you will be retrieving. So that's kind of like, yeah, we've got some distance exercises with your sits and downs.
Change of positions.
Change of positions from a distance with distractions. Sometimes they'll block you so the dog can't see you, or they put the dog on something or something like that. But yeah, it's still, you can still get, with a lot of training and the right training, you can still get a pretty good.
And your dog's not allowed to bite in the obedience.
Yes,
so
that's immediate disqualification.
Oh yeah, one thing we also forgot in PSA 1, you start bringing in the muzzle. So your dog has to be neutral to a muzzle, and you also start a little bit with your off leash. You'll see that PSA, the one level prepares for the other level. So you've got a little bit over here, the touches that's going to be used more in the next level. So and then with the bite work with PSA 2, this is a total different ball game because you don't have the same scenarios that you had in the PSA 1 and the PSA 2, but you've got 2 decoys to deal with over here. You've got some call-offs as well.
Let's start at the beginning, so don't forget one. So like you start with a 2-man attack, so it's 2 decoys running at your dog. The dog bites one, the other one runs past. It's a redirect, out, and then a transport of the decoy. You've got your fended.
So you also had one of those 5 scenarios you'll see in PSA 1. You've also got a transport over there, but that's like an on-leash transport. This time the transport is totally different.
Your bite work is still off-leash.
Everything is off-leash.
Yeah. So we've got a fended, which they block the target area. So let's say your dog is coming up high in the bicep, they will block it either with a sleeve, a jacket, or anything like a baby pool, anything like that. And so basically you need to teach your dog a secondary target, which is then if its target's up high will be down low.
And I know they like using like the jacket or like a sleeve because the dog is used to these things and the bite. So you have to teach them to be like neutral to that. They have to like go for the man. And this is quite interesting about PSA is like your dog starts learning. It doesn't matter what the guy's got on or what equipment he's got on. They start fighting the person inside, and that's a test there to see that the dog is not equipment orientated, that it wants to rather take the equipment and run away with it. It'll let go of the equipment, or it has to let go of the equipment and then go and keep on fighting the decoy. So that's what needs to happen. Then we've got the call off.
That's a difficult scenario.
So the call off is so you've got a decoy downfield. So this decoy can agitate, run away, fire gunshots, whatever it gets picked for the day. And a coin toss happens, and either or, let's say heads is call off first, and it falls on heads. You need to do the call off first, or it's the bite first, vice versa.
So you do it twice.
You do it
twice.
One
will be a call off, and one will be a bite.
Or other way around.
But the scenario looks exactly the same to the dog.
And this is the only one where you can actually gain points in the. Anyway, so you start off with full points, and the decoy and the judge take away from you. The decoy help you lose points so that the judge can take them away. And then this is where you can actually, the closer you call the dog off, there's these cones standing. The closer you've got a mandatory cone, the dog has to go past that certain cone before you can do the call off. So after that, you've got like a full box, and then you've got an extra 5 points, which you can then use as anywhere later on if need be. But it's really close. It's like 5 meters or 5 yards away from the decoy. So if you've got a running away decoy or a charging decoy or decoy firing shots at the dog at that distance, it's really, really good control that you need of your dog to pull him away, especially if the first one was a bite. And the second one you have to do a call.
And the thing about this scenario is, like, if your dog bites when it is supposed to call off, you can just as well stop now, because you can't pass that scenario, and without that scenario you won't get your title, you won't pass the bite work section.
So just to give you a little story on how humbling the sport is and how dogs and animals humble you. Flew from South Africa all the way to America to go and compete with my dog. This particular, the call off was one of his best exercises, and I was really like very, in a way, more arrogant. I knew my dog was going to call off. I had no problem with it. And only to come at the nationals, and they had these huge damn streamers, and it was Jeremy, I think, was the decoy, and he did a real good job in enticing my dog. And when he went down there, he was all guns firing down the straight to go and get this decoy. And I did do the recall, and you can see clearly how he slows down. And then all of a sudden, I think he just like gave me the finger and said, "Stuff this guy looks way too much interesting than the call off." And he bit during the call off, so you get a 0 for that whole exercise. So that was a really humbling situation where it was my dog's best. In PSA 2, it's one of his best exercises that he did was the call off, but that specific day it didn't work out like planned. But that's the sport. That's the beauty of the sport. All right.
Then you have a surprise scenario, but this time you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So you don't have scenarios that you can go and prepare before the time. It's something. There are certain rules that the judge needs to work within. But it's pretty much you can get
free for all.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff they can do.
So your dog needs to know how to do he needs to have the skills, and you and the dog need to know how to put those skills together in this scenario. And this scenario on the PSA 2, this completely like scenario that you learn the day that you step onto the field with, prepares you for that level that everybody chases, the PSA 3. Now, PSA 3, the sport's 23 years old, 20 years old, and there's only been 24 titled PSA 3 dogs in this 20 years. I repeat myself because there was like 3 that came through now it was like 20 years, it was like 18 years, 18 PSA 3, and then a few PSA 3 guys came through and got their title. 24 dogs in 20 years. Now, There's some other guys over there. I'm thinking like Jerry Bradshaw. I think he's titled his third dog. Janet Edwards, 2 dogs. Jonathan Cutts has got 2 dogs. I mean, that is really, really insane to think that you can compete at that level and get that kind of titles with your dog, and you don't do it just with one dog. You're going to do it with a second dog and do it with a third dog. This is really extraordinary. So take our hats off, because it's really difficult. Marley and myself now are starting with our 3rd level with our dogs, and we really, really want to see it through. But it's just the one day when you think you know something, you'll see something on YouTube or something in a new trial which a judge comes up with, and think, oh my goodness, my dog doesn't know anything to do that. It is really, really a difficult level, because everything in the PSA level 3 is planned by the judge, and you know about it when you step on to the field that day. Your obedience. And how many decoys you got?
4, I think.
4 decoys. 4 decoys agitating you. And get this now. They are not allowed to be closer in your space than a meter. Now, people, a meter is maybe it's a little bit further than what this camera is away from us. You got 4 guys with sticks and leaf blowers and chainsaw without the chain in it, and weed eaters without the guts in it, and they charging around on your dog and running away, and they just want that dog to bite them. It is really for the top dogs, this thing, and it takes a lot of stress and energy out of you as the trainer, and really, really pushes you to think to a next level of dog training.
And we have a muzzle attack in the 3s.
A muzzle attack.
So that's something you have to
teach
there's
your
a
dog.
Pressure scenario. So there is one scenario where they actually test the dog and how much pressure he can take, and it's quite.
They spray them with water. He has to ride on maybe a wheelbarrow, being pulled on a sled.
Multiple call-offs.
Multiple call-offs. It is insane. Searches. Yeah. There's some places where they have to do searches, and either hold and bark or a bite, or then remote transports. So you'll be standing somewhere and you have to navigate your dog, send him onto a decoy, send him to an object in between decoys, either be it in a pool, on top of a table, over a jump. It's endless what the judges can come up with. And like I say, the first time I saw the PSA 3 in actual seeing it and not looking at it on YouTube was in Canada, and we had the privilege of watching some of the great PSA trainers and their dogs. I'm thinking of Ray Medina with his dog. That was something really interesting to watch. It was interesting to see what they can think of in these PSA 3s, and what they can do is put up a whole scenario, and that one section might not be judged at all. You don't know this. You don't, as a trainer, and you don't know this. So the judge will be standing there pretending he's judging you, but that whole section means nothing. And it is quite weird. You have to work with your dog over here. Nothing is set in stone. So it's not something that you can train 20 paces, 15 paces, jump, do this. You can't mechanize a dog in PSA. So that is PSA 3, and like Mari said, PSA 1, 2 and 3, you have to do it twice to get your title. So you have to like prove yourself really well in the sport. You can't go today and maybe it was easy or something and you got it. You have to prove yourself twice, which I also think there is no other sport, dog sport, that pushes you that far. So, but
that's the levels.
That's the levels. All right. So how do you get involved with PSA? I'm going to put this, it'll also be at the bottom there after you've liked and subscribed to our channel and liked this video. You'll see there it's PSAK and a 9_AS, which stands for AmericanSchutzhund.org. Very, very interesting, nice website. It's very easy. If I can go and use it, then it is very user friendly. So go and have a look at it. So from my side, I want to say is, how do you get involved in PSA? We were very fortunate to get a hold of Jerry Bradshaw, which is one of our mentors, and a person we look up very highly to, and he got us into it. But if you know, we have made it easier in regions with people that's already broken the ice. So in South Africa, if I can put it this way, if you're anywhere else in the world, go on to that. Even in South Africa, go on to the website. Everything will explain to you, the closest club to you. But in South Africa, you can contact on Facebook or look us up as South Africa, PSA South Africa, or Africa and Middle East is our region. So in our region, we've got 6 local clubs, which is 2 in Cape Town, 2 in Polokwane, 2 here by us, and then we have 1 in Swaziland.
Here by us is now, he's talking about the Gauteng. We're in Harties.
Yeah, we're in Harties, and then Firm Missiles is in Gauteng, which is not very far from us. And then you'll find that all those clubs and the contact persons on our website and also on our Facebook page. And then we've got Swaziland, who's also got a club over there, and we have a club in Lebanon. Very exciting new club, also a dual club. Unfortunately, with this COVID, we don't know where we're going to stand with Sean Segan's coming over to do the decoy certification. We didn't talk about decoys. We'll quickly talk about decoys. But so with this COVID thing, we don't know how it's going to go, but we were looking at doing a certification in March where Lebanon is going to join us here in South Africa to get their guys certified as well. So that's something that we planning, but we don't know where it's going to end up with the virus.
Yeah, we're still hoping that we will be able to do an international trial this year.
Yeah, I hope so. But we have a trial in May with our own first local judge judging it. That is very, very exciting for us to do. South Africa has now got the junior judge, what do you call it? So it's a judge, a deputy judge or something like that. So you can judge the PDCs and PSA 1. And this is Marley going to be the judge over there, so we're going to be in May. And I'm thinking, last time I checked on WhatsApp, I think there was something like 18 dogs that's going to compete in this trial, which is really exciting. Our own local judge, and then August we've got Jerry Bradshaw.
Yeah, sorry, they are.
Well, I'll show you.
Making a noise. They're very small. And now it's not a Malinois.
No, it's
or
not
a Dutch Shepherd.
But it's Lily that gave birth to 6 beautiful Yacht Terrier puppies. So they are mainly used for hunting. In South Africa, the guys like to use them for the blood spoor tracking. So these 6 have got, that's what their job is going to be one day. So that's the noises you hear. Alright, Mom, I'm bringing your pup back. Alright, so now you, where were we? Alright, so...
You want to say something about the decoys?
Yeah, before we carry on with that, let's have
Just
something about the decoys. So quickly with the decoys.
Yeah.
You'll see in the video that we've got, we're going to speak about Johnny, which is our decoy in charge in South Africa that handles the decoys and also gets everything organized for decoys, the certifications and stuff like that. So the certifications get done by Sean Seagans, who is the director of decoys in the whole world. He comes out and he certifies these guys. It's a test that happens over 2 days, and these guys have to do a fitness test that they have to pass first, and then they go through a lot of theory and a lot of practical. And let me tell you something, this is not easy. The guys go, yeah. You can see that too. When they finish with that 2 days, it's been tough. There's not a high pass mark with the decoys. A lot of guys fall out, but they only take the best and the fittest for these to become PSA decoys. We're also proud to say that we have the youngest decoy in the world in South Africa, Brandon Botha, who was certified at the age of 15.
Yeah,
16.
15, but the next day he turned 16.
15. He turned 16 the next day, but he was 15 when we got it. So very proud of Brandon. Yeah, so that's the decoys. A lot of the young, strong guys would like to get into the decoys. It's very fun. It's an action sport, so and a contact sport. If there's anybody that want to learn more about decoying and getting into the dogs in PSA, feel free to leave a message at the bottom of here, and we'll definitely get in touch with you and tell you how to start and give you some advice. All right.
And then I think the last thing is, why do you do PSA?
Why do I do PSA? To impress you, my love. Now, because we have a company and we train dogs for a living, this is one reason. It's not the main reason, but it's like advertising people and showing them what quality of training we do. I put myself out there to be judged, so that this is also for me. It's like to see where my level of training is. So I want high marks. I don't want to go out there to be second and third and stuff like that. I let you win, so that's the only reason. But I don't do it. I want to get really good points, and I want to win. I'm not that arsehole that says I'm going to win all the time, but that's why I do it. But it's also PSA is not like a sport where you like stand on the podium and you're number one. PSA is like it's such a difficult sport that you actually just want to try and beat the sport, and I think that to me is like
especially the upper at PSA 2.
My thing is I want to beat the judge and I want to beat the decoys, so I can show them that they don't have any impact on my dog, you know. So that's why I do PSA, but it puts me out there so people can see the quality of the dogs that we breed, the dogs are training. You still have to learn a hell of a lot in training and breeding of dogs, but it already gives me something to work for and trying to better myself. I
think, and also a lot about sports training is it teaches you a lot, and it teaches you a lot of skills. Yeah. Because now we have to do precision, and it's not just doing something. You know, the dog must out. It has to out quick, and it has to out neatly, and it has to sit, and it has to do this, and so it really challenges you. And PSA is a difficult sport. I think that's one thing we haven't mentioned. You need the right dog that can handle it, and then you need to know how to train for the sport in a way. Although we don't like tell you how to train, but there's certain ways we prepare the dogs for the scenarios and for the obedience. I mean, we know what the dogs need to know. So you need to get in touch with someone that can help you prepare your dog for these levels.
And the thing is with PSA is what people don't understand about the sport is that you're training a dog skill levels. And then you're teaching the dog how to put those skills levels into working.
You have to show him different
scenario and different pictures. It's like basically training a police dog or training a military dog. You can't expect a dog that comes off the sports field. And yes, people, most of the good dogs out there come from a sports field. KNPV is a sport. IGP is a sport. A lot of these dogs get brought up from there, and then they get trained for police work and stuff like that. So I don't want to even go into the real dog trainers and the sports dog trainers, but this is where these dogs start. You can't expect to take that KNPV dog just off the field now and then go and put it in a police situation. You have to show him the scenarios. You have to have him working with a bunch of people in a unit. You have to get used to gunshots, multiple gunshots, people screaming, shouting, carrying on, all sorts of stuff happening, attacking the dog, where in PSA it is now those scenarios that gets put together and your dog gets tested against those scenarios. So it is it's not an easy sport, as we say, but it is a sport that pushes the dogs more to be street ready or work ready in a way than what your other sports do. And I think that also to me is I love doing that. I love doing that because it teaches me also how to train dogs for working environments better, setting up scenarios.
Yeah, you have to think out of the box.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite things about the sport is the people that's involved in it. I think everywhere we go, we've got the same. I don't know. It's weird to explain it, but we've got like the same outlook on dogs, and I think it's got to do with the fact that the sport is so difficult, and we have to support each other and root for each other, and we feel happy for each other's accomplishments.
You know, I was just thinking now, a very good saying Winston Churchill always said. He said that a dog looks up at you, a cat looks down at you, but a pig looks you right in the eyes. And there's certain dog sports that everybody like looks down on, you know, it's like mediocre dog sports. And then you get to some sports when you arrive there, like people look at you like, oh my goodness, like a typical cat. Yeah. I think PSA is like the pig in the situation, because they look you straight into the eyes. There's no bullshit around everything. Everybody accepts you for who you are. You fly halfway around the world. You meet a guy once at a competition, and a year later, you go live in his house for like for like 10 days, and it's like you will come and stay by me. It's like the friendship of these people of PSA. It's like a cult type of thing, you know. But it's like something that everybody like picks up very quickly. You go there, nobody is there to judge you. Nobody is there to think that your dog is. Maybe they do think it, but they won't tell you that straight out. That you've got a shit dog or something like that. I'm for those that watching. There is no shit dog. Remember that. But just now for let's say this type of situation. But you always feel at home. It's like and. People come to the club, and for instance, everybody like talks to the people. Everybody's got like encouraging them. I want to see their dog. Let's do it. It's not like somebody sits there and they feel out of everything. Well, I hope not. Well, I hope not. But I must say the PSA people are very cliquey in a way. But they always rag each other. The decoys always rag each other. Who's the softest? Who's the loudest? Who's the? But it's always fun. I must say.
And loud. I think that's the other thing. When we did the little interviews with our club members, and I looked at it afterwards, you can barely hear what they're saying because everybody's carrying on at the back. Yeah. And I mean, we've been at other events, dog events, where people has come to ask us to please keep quiet because we carry on, but like at a PSA trial or something, no one's going to tell you to.
Oh, it's loud. You cheer. You have to. Your dogs are used to all this noise.
Even at training, it's loud.
Yeah, and I think that to me is like fun. I can WhatsApp anybody in the States right now, or send them a Facebook, and it's like you haven't seen them for a year, but when you talk to them, it's like you like saw them yesterday or something like that. And then the other thing is. I had saw a situation on a video on one of the good trainers in one of the top trainers in PSA. I messaged the guy. He doesn't really know me from a bar of soap. I always follow his stuff because it's really good. And I messaged him up. It wasn't 2 hours later. I get like 3-4 videos on how he does that. So it's not like somebody says, "Oh no, I'm going to teach this guy there," you know, and like hold all the information back. He doesn't even know me for a bar of soap. But here he's sending videos, explains to me in detail how he got his dog to train his dog that, and it helped a lot in my training. That videos and the help he gave me. And I mean, that's so funny. In PSA, it's like always there. Somebody's there to want to help you with. They want you to achieve. They want you to beat the sport just like they did. And that's the big thing is if you get to a podium position, you happen to beat your friend or your wife that once in the 10th time or something like that. Maybe it does feel a little bit nice, but just to know that you got your title and you beat the judge and the decoys, I mean, that to me is a hell of an achievement already.
I think that is us.
That is us.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell. Have a look at the club and what carries on in our club.
Yeah, and then if you want to see more about it, like you said, on the website there is for each level there is on the training resources there is videos of PDCs, PSA 1, PSA 2s.
Stand back like this, they can see all this. Silverware and the jewelry on that side as well.
It's all belonging to me.
Bullshit. There's at least 1 or 2 things that's mine. There's at least 1 or 2 things that's mine. This one is one of the, I think, your most proudest moments. And of course this one over here, which is Dog of the Tournament 2019, all the way in the States. Decoy selected, Dog of the Tournament. Here it is. Decoy's choice.
I was sore.
I was sore. Awesome. Alright, so yeah, before we start getting nostalgic, please like, subscribe, and if there's anything you need to know about PSA, or if you've tried PSA, or tell us what dog sport you do and what dog sport you find fun. And
if you're in South Africa and you want to get involved in PSA, please contact us or contact the people on the clubs on the website. And if you want to start your own club, we encourage that. Yeah. So let us know. We'll help you. No problem.
We'll travel to you. We'll come and help you. Your best is to travel to us to see how we operate with our clubs. Closest club to you, maybe, and we can take it from there. But enjoy the video that's coming up, and we love PSA.
Cheers.
Cheers. So we've got Nikki over here with her dog Hedda, and she also has a dog called Fanta. Nikki has started PSA. How many months have you been doing PSA now?
About a year.
About a year. All right. So what made you interested in the sport?
I love the precision of it. And my first dog was a protection dog, and he did a fantastic job with me, saved me quite a few times. And then I just fell in love with the sport. So I got a second one that was younger, and now I'm addicted.
And you're going to be trialing in?
In May.
All
so
right.
I'm looking very forward to taking Phantom to kick ass in May.
Thank you very much, Nikki. All right, this is Irina. So Irina, why are you here? What made you interested in PSA?
I saw PSA first time in 2013 when I met Jerry Bradshaw, and I'm going to be honest, not the protection work, but obedience blew me off my feet. Until today, I absolutely love it, love it. Even not so much protection work, it would be nice, of course, but my dogs doesn't bite. I love obedience part as well, and one day maybe my dogs will bite.
Okay. Well, if you look at the standards of PSA to a lot of, I'm not running any other sports down, but if you look at the standards of training, what would you suggest for somebody that would like to get into the sport? What do they have to try and achieve, or what do they have to look for to get to high standards of training?
High standards of training, first of all, it's lots to do with the dog. It's what breed you choose. And depends what level. If you just want to do it at a home level, it's one thing. But if you want to do it at a proper sport competition level, you need to get a dog with right genetic, with right drive, confidence, stamina, so that dog can fit into the sport. So when you go into the PSA, you need to have a very clear picture. Don't expect your Labradoodle to come and do PSA 1. Have a dog from good parents who have titles, can do IGP or whichever canine PV, then you know you're getting a dog which will be strong enough to handle the sport, because it's lots of pressure on the dogs.
How far do you drive to come to training at PSA?
80 kilometers one way.
One of our loyal PSA followers. Thanks, Irina.
Thank you.
Miss Stein has been with us as long as her dog has been old. How old's your dog?
He's 8 months old now.
What's his name?
Pinky.
Please tell us, what breed have you got?
He's a Malinois.
And what did you have before the Malinois?
I knew this was coming. A pit bull. And I'm proud of it, thank you.
Yeah, you are. Go for it, go for it. All right.
Pit bulls are great.
What do you think of PSA?
What do I think of PSA?
Yeah.
I think it's a challenging sport, but it's very rewarding when you get it going.
How far do you travel to come to club trainings?
It's about 2 hours to get here.
2 hours to get here,
Yeah.
and 2 hours back home.
And 2 hours back home, but it's worth it.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
If you have to think now, you've been at it, let's say, for 8 months. We met you before that. You waited for the right dog to come along.
Yes.
You were one of the cleverer persons that did that. We get some people here that don't want to listen when they bring their bad dogs here, and they say we could one. It's not a bad.
My pit bull a bad dog.
She said it, didn't she? If you think of, if you had your time over, would you reconsider the fact that you're doing PSA and maybe do a different sport that is closer to you?
Definitely not. I've tried different sports, but this is the most challenging, and I really enjoy the sport more than any of the other sports.
Okay. Well, if you have a look at this is Miss Stein. Look out for her. Her obedience is really, really nice. Her bite work is coming on. She's going to be a very, very good competitor in a very short time. Well done. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Right, Marcel is our treasurer of the PSA Africa and for Middle East region. He's also been a member with us for a long time. And then, Marcel, what sport did you do before you met PSA?
I did canoeing, so yes, I love adrenaline sports, and yeah, so I did a couple of doozies, a couple of fish marathons, and yeah, eventually when I started with PSA, something had to go, and something that I loved so dearly. With this, it's me and my dog. It's not just me that's getting the fun out of it. So I gave up the canoeing for PSA, spent time with my dog, and it's the best decision I've ever made.
Now, just let me run this down. The doozy and those kind of stuff is some of the most fiercest canoe races in Africa?
Yeah, some even challenging for people in the world. You've got people competing all over from all countries come to South Africa to do the Doozy. Doozy is 130 kilometers in the valley, just you and your canoe for 3 days flat, so it's very challenging. But yeah, it was a wonderful experience as well.
Yeah.
Nice to tick that off.
Okay, so tell us about your dog quickly.
Yeah, so Major, yes, I almost want to say he's the love of my life. You know, I've got another love of my life as well, but he's like a child in our home to us. But he's, you know, the reason I got him in the beginning was as a protection dog. I travel often with work, and then I did all the homework I could. I didn't realize actually what these dogs are capable of and what they like. But yeah, so it was quite a rude awakening, but a very pleasant one as well. When I started to realize what these dogs are, and I don't think you can compare Malinois with anything else in the world really in that regard. And but he's a part of our family. You know, I won't give away too much of that and talk out of the bedroom too much, but yeah, he's just, you know, part of our life, and it's like I'm excited to get home to see him and to spend time with him and to do PSA with him.
And tell me, before you got your dog, what did you know about dog training or dog sports or something like that?
I thought I knew a lot, but I actually knew nothing, absolutely nothing. Yeah, when we grew up we had 2 pit bulls, you know, but and I thought, you know, if you have pit bulls and you grew up with them, you sort of know dogs. But I realized very quickly, you know, I think at first when I got Major, I was advised to start doing PSA. I gave it a couple of months, and then I realized, you know what, if I don't do it, then I'm not going to be able to make it through with this dog, and I have to get him under control. And that's when I realized I actually know absolutely nothing about dogs. And my first day I pitched at PSA, he was all over the place. I didn't know a prong collar from a flat collar, from what leashes, I think I came there and I looked like I'm a Navy SEAL with all the trimmings and everything I had on Major, only to realize that, you know, I actually knew nothing.
Alright, but I must say that the dedication that Marcel showed when he did his PDC, his first competition, you got a 3rd podium position with your dog, so they did really well. You're gonna go for your
PSA 1 now
in May,
so yeah, we're working on that. You know, I think, yes, you know, life sometimes happens, and then you miss out on some chances. I actually had chances before and valuable time that we lost, but we're making up for it now, and yeah, we're going to give it our all. We can't wait for Cape Town for the trials in May, and we're going to give it our all. We're preparing, and you know, he's a champ. I'm the one that's at the moment, or used to let him down a bit, but I'm going to pay it back to him.
Team sport, eh?
Yes, make it up to him.
Well, I know you're going to do this, buddy.
Love it.
Shot myself. Thanks.
Thanks, Charles.